I'm going to be restoring this desk and this. So, this table and chairs is something that I got off another customer. You may have seen the video. I did a G-plan dining table, a circular one, and I didn't take any payment from the customer. I took this as payment. Now you might be asking, why have I taken this as payment for that? And the reason being is for you. And I just thought you would probably love to see this. It's in a really bad state, full of paint, needs some repairs, but I know there's something really nice under this. So I thought, well, you know, you'll probably like to see the video. I know from previous videos that if something's painted badly and you see it restored back to its original beauty, then you seem to like those videos. So that's why I've done this. That's why I've taken this as payment. So I hope you appreciate it. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it, obviously, and hopefully it won't be as big as a job as I initially thought. So let's get on with it. Probably from about the 1950's, something like that, 60's maybe, and it's been upcycled in the past. So I'm going to see what I can do with this, but bear with me 1 second, because we've also got this and this and as you can see, this is going to need a little bit of work, but let's have a look around it and see what we need to do. So obviously one of the main things is the state of the paint. It does have these lovely original brass ink wells that have been painted in the past. There's nothing in the base of them to hold ink, but I'll have to have a think about that, but they need to be restored. 2 open fronts that have been painted and held on with L bracket, and as you can see the paint is not the best. Some cracks there. Not the best. The chair's in a similar state. Painted with white gloss paint, and it's had this lovely marbling vinyl put on it. That's the base. So that's going to take a bit of work, and I'm going to try and do something creative on this. Well, not just this one, on the other one as well. The other one doesn't seem as bad. It's not been, it has been painted, but it's not as thick, so that should be easier to strip back. So we'll get started and see what we can come up with. I hope you enjoy this, because I've been really looking forward to this one. I think that's like a little thumbnail, what do you call it, a thumbtack, a drawing pin, we call them here. I think there's another one there, and the remnants of one there, so I need to take those out. I think they're think they're drawing pins, not sure. Yeah, it's a little drawing pin. You just woke up. Yeah. He's sweeping the floor with that tail. Hey. Ooh, she's a good girl. Just need to do all the inside and underneath, but I'm going to take this top off before I do that. I just wanted to leave it on because it was just easier and more stable to get as much off as I could. Now I'll take the top off, do the underside, do the inside, the bottom needs doing as well, so I'll do all that, then it's on to the next step. For those eagle-eyed viewers out there, you may have noticed that I've got a new addition to my workshop, as you can see there. And it's this natural light floor lamp from Honeywell, and I wanted this to try and improve the lighting for the videos that I'm doing, specifically to add some light pointing down onto the pieces that I'm working on. And this thing is absolutely unbelievable. As you can see there, it's quite a big lamp, but this thing is so well engineered. It's all metal. I think there's some plastic in the head there. But it's got LEDs that light up, LEDs that light down, and it's also dimmable. And hopefully you will be able to see the difference in the lighting on this video. The top on this desk is solid oak, and it's held onto the base with these L brackets, and these I initially thought had been added after the event, but on further inspection, once I take this thing off, it looks like these were the original fixings for the top. Now, I'm guessing that is because it allows the wood to move. So we'll clean those up and see how they look once it's reassembled. More scraping. This is a bit I was dreading. Because of the angles and everything, getting all this paint off is going to be a bit of a pain. So what I'm going to try and do, take that off so I can get inside a bit easier. So I'm going to try and remove these glue blocks and lift this to try and get at the nails and get it off. So wish me luck. You can see by doing that hammering, it's lifted some of these nails. Well, a lot of these nails have come out, but it's also lifted up the panel so I can get something in to pry it out. Are you bored? This is the cuteness I have to contend with when I'm trying to get some work done. She just sits there and looks at me because I'm not paying her attention. Hello. Who's Peter? Ooh, that's a big stretch. What are you after? you're such a pest. Go on then. Into Cork. Yes? Go on then. Go get one. Oh dear. This must be 10 times a day. Right, good girl, you go in your bed with your Cork. Right, happy now. The plan is, I want to make this part look like that, where there's been no paint on it. So what I'm doing is I'm just sanding. I've got rid of the bulk of the paint. I'm just sanding off smooth, and that'll tell me what's left in the grain, and then I need to get it out of the grain. I was hoping I wouldn't have to use stripper again, just because I don't like it really, but I'm just going across the grain just to try and, so the grain will trap the stripper in there. I guess this is the problem with oak furniture that's been painted. I've painted some. It just takes a bit longer to restore it back because it's open grained. I'll do this, it'll get rid of the bulk, and I'll have to go over it again, which is pretty much a lot of things when you're restoring furniture. Do multiple passes of the same process. A little bit of methylated spirit. You can see that's starting to look better already. So that's what I'm going to do on everything that's got grain, which is pretty much all of the desk. So I'll crack on with that now. This one's a beauty. Look at that. Marble top. You can see quite a lot of paint on this. And it's got this lovely faux marble top. So I've got a plan for this, well, both the chairs. The other one's not quite as bad as this one, so let's try and get the paint off. First thing to do was to remove that lovely vinyl on the top, which was fairly easy with this heat gun. That was easier than I thought. For the chairs, I decided to use the paint stripper straight away. I didn't bother scraping any of these. It was just an easier option for the chairs. So this is how it looks after the first round of stripper. Still quite a bit to go. So rather than boring you with all that, I'll get it down to the bare wood and then we'll go from there. This is going to take some time. Right, finally got most of the paint off. There's a few little bits here and there. But the next thing I need to do, I haven't done this yet because I'm going to remove this seat. Just started removing this dark finish off this one, and as you can see, that's down to the bare wood, that's down to the bare wood. They look to be two totally different pieces of two different species of wood. I'm guessing this is mahogany, this looks like some sort of beech. So we'll see when it's finished. They might look nice actually, two sort of contrasting ones. So see when we're finished. Everything's stripped and ready for sand. It was a bit of an epic job that, but pretty pleased with how it's come out, and we'll just crack on now. This is the inside base from the desk, and as you can see there, it's pretty heavily stained with ink and felt tip and other sort of markings on it. So I thought I would give it a coat of oxalic acid just to see if I could reduce those stains. I didn't have high hopes for this, but it was definitely worth a go. This is what the base, the inside of it looks like after the oxalic acid. So it's not really done what I wanted it to do. I didn't think it would get rid of the ink, to be honest, but it was worth giving it a go. So I will have a little think about what I want to do with that now. I've had the results. I went into my little stock room. I took this off something, but look at the size. So I can cut that shape out of that, repurposing old stuff. I've not sanded anything to the final sand yet, but before I sand the top, you can see this has got quite a few little marks in it as well. So I'll give it a go with the oxalic and see how we get on. This is how it looked after 2 coats of the oxalic acid. Some of the stains had completely disappeared, but to be honest, most of the ink and the felt tip stains were still visible, albeit they were a lot lighter. But when you wet this wood again, so if I put a top coat on, they actually start showing through again. So I had a little think and I checked Google and YouTube to see if there was any techniques for removing felt tip pen, and that's what I tried next. So apparently you take half a lemon, no idea if this is going to work, and you rub it over the stain, supposedly. Well, this isn't going to work. It should smell nice anyway. Then use a little bit of bicarbonate of soda. Supposedly this works, but I can't see this working. And there's no colour coming out. That doesn't look to be working to me. I'll leave it on for a bit, see what happens. Guess what? It didn't work. It didn't even touch the stain whatsoever, didn't lighten it. So I'm not too sure why the video that I watched worked, but it definitely didn't work for me. It will just mean I have to do something differently with the top, which I will do very soon. I've got this crack that I need to fix and just bring that in. So I'm just going to try and clean that out a little bit. A bit of string. You can do this with fishing line or stuff like that. Got 2 other cracks on it as well. One there. This is on the back of the desk. And one there. So I'll do the same with them. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everyone that supports the channel through the super thanks button, the buy me a coffee app, and through my Amazon wish list. And by popular request, I've now added some of Daisy's favourite treats to my Amazon wish list. So if you want to buy Daisy a little treat, then I'll leave the links in the description to this video. Thanks again, as always. Depending on what device you're watching this video on, you may have noticed a slight drop in picture quality, and I'll hold my hands up, that's my fault. I don't know what I did, but I've managed to change a setting in the camera, and I didn't realise I'd done it until I started the edit. I've tried to resolve that in the edit, but unfortunately it is what it is, and it's not for long, it's just for the next few clips, so apologies. I'm using one of my favourite colours, which is a walnut by a company called Morel's, and this is really easy to apply. It's a spirit based stain, just simply apply it on, it soaks in. Any excess just wipe off with a shop towel. Because this is so badly marked and I've used bits of filler here and there, I'm going to do it a much darker colour. It'll give it a contrast and hopefully it'll hide these ink marks as much as possible. So I'm doing this in ebony. So just the top, well I say just the top, for now I'm just going to do the top, but I might do the inside base just to balance it up. Because this was an old school desk, and I'm hoping its new life will be in somebody's home as a children's desk where they can do their homework and get creative at it, then I just wanted to make it a little bit more fun and add a design to each of the seats. I'm very fortunate in that I've got the xTool P2 laser in my workshop, so I thought this was an ideal opportunity to use that and add a unique design to this piece of furniture. So all I'm doing here, I'm just making some measurements to ensure that when I place this into the laser, I get it in the right place, because I've only really got one shot at getting this right. The great thing with this laser is you can actually engrave on curved surfaces, and these seats were slightly curved. So the design software that I used to make the design, I've done this one and I did a separate one as well, is Canva. So I did it in that and then I just put it into the XCS software. As you can see there, I'm selecting the curve process, and what you do is you use these arrows to basically you move the laser to one point and mark it like that. Takes a picture and then you move it to the diagonal opposite and do that again, mark it again, and then what you ask the laser to do is measure the curvature of that piece, and that's what it's doing now. It's just measuring at those increments, and as you can see, the little laser is measuring every so often to get an idea of what it looks like, and that's what you come out with. You come out with a 3D rendering of the thing that you are going to engrave. So brilliant, brilliant feature. Something you wouldn't be able to do on a lot of other lasers. When it's finished measuring, just bring in your design and manipulate it to where you want it and the settings that you want it to engrave at. Have a look where it's going to sit on the piece and then just send it to the machine. When you finish lasering, you tend to get a little bit of a smoke mark around the engraving, so it's just easy to rub it over with a bit of fine sandpaper just to clean that up. If you are interested in a laser, then I'd definitely recommend xTool. So I'll leave all the links in the description and any discounts available. These are replacement little ink pots, ceramic, crackle glazed. The measurements are right, but they don't sit quite right, so I've just had to open them up a bit with this little sanding wheel. Still a little bit to go, so I'll just finish that off. I'll stain that again. I've not done these yet, but I'll do these in a sec. Yeah, fits now. Let's do the other one. The white vinegar solution did a good job of cleaning the brass and getting that residual paint off, but they needed a polish after that. So this is just some standard metal polish and a bit of elbow grease, and they came up really, really nice. The L brackets and the screws were just like a steel, so I decided to give them a coat of satin black just to match the top. So for the top coat on this, I'm going to use this Gilboy's hard wax oil in a satin, and it's the first time I've used this, but this guy Gilboy, I can't remember his first name, but they have a YouTube channel, Gilboy's Antique Restorations. Brilliant channel, and their products are really, really good. So check them out. I'm going to use some of this, and I'm going to decant it, so I'm not dipping the brush back into the tin. Just move that so I don't spill it, because it ain't cheap. I don't think you need a lot of this, but like I say, I've never used it, so I'm doing it with a brush just to get it into all the open grain. There we go. Easy. Hopefully you've been enjoying this video so far, and if I could ask you a massive favour, and that's just to simply hit the thumbs up button to say you've liked it. It really helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Just need to fill these little, not that, because that's what's going to hold the top on. Just need to fill these little nail holes. So these little screw covers, it was like a rigid plastic, but it was all broken, and the other one was totally missing on the other chair. So I was going to cut some discs out on the laser, but had these little oak half beads, and I got these ages ago because I was going to try and do a design on a piece of furniture, but I've stained it, but look at that, it fits really well. So I'm just going to glue that in, just with some hide glue, so if you warm it up in the future, it'll just pull off. You can get to the screw if you need to take the seat off. In there. Leave that to dry. So I'll go round, I'll attach all these loosely, then sort of equal it all up and then tighten them up. So the only thing left to do now is add the lovely brass ink pot covers and the new ink pots. So I'd like to say a massive thank you if you've lasted this long. It's quite a long video and I've really enjoyed doing this, so hopefully you've enjoyed it too. And if you have, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.